convention center, where we really came from post-production, and then we wanted to take more of the post workflow to the camera. That's what we do. We make monitor recorders that we teamed up with Apple to record ProRes at the camera, and that was in 2011. And that was a pretty awesome experience for me personally, being approved to get ProRes and going through I remember it was IBC 2010, we actually announced it, and it was an hour before the show that we got the approval from the ProRes team, because we had to encode 36 different files of different HD and SD formats to get approved, and they checked every single pixel in every frame. So, and that kind of level of detail was what, Apple, why they're so successful as a technology company. And we were very humbled and lucky to get that privilege. And since then, we've sold 250,000 recorders and monitors, ProRes devices, basically. They also record a few other formats, but the majority of recording, as you guys know, is in ProRes. And these are record, playback, monitor, and edit devices. And we basically connect to Japanese cameras. Why do we do that? Because we're looking for the best image sensor quality. And hands down, we find that in Canon, Sony's, Panasonic cameras. And we've been very close to those guys for a long time, because I lived there for 10 years and I speak Japanese, and I'm very close to the very hard-working engineers that make those cameras. So we're very happy to kind of level up the camera. And for the last 2 years, we've been working in and pushing the message of HDR, because we think it just looks amazing. And the wider brightness, that's all HDR is wider brightness, like our eye sees. And we were able to resolve that on the screen and show you what log and raw looked like, what it would look like on a PQ or HLG TV. Even though they weren't around really 2 years ago, we knew that it was coming. So we've kind of solved half the problem, scopes and things in wider brightness range. But what happened after that, we were recording and we would convert to ProRes and keep it in log. And we kind of, when we were in RAW, we took RAW for 9 different cameras, Sony's, Panas, etc. And it was like we couldn't finish it properly. We were crippling it after. And we were talking to the guys at Apple, which we met. We meet them often, every kind of quarter, to work out what the next frame rate and the next version of ProRes will be. And we often test different things. And we were discussing, what if RAW could be like a ProRes workflow? And that's when we started to discuss ProRes RAW. And what it is, what ProRes RAW is instead of taking the sensor values, the RGB, Mr. Bayer, awesome Kodak guy who invented all the sensors behave like this. So they're all very similar, RGB pattern. And the camera processes that to an RGB video pixel, combines them all and gives you a pixel. And in 4K, it's 4,000 of them. And we take that, we pack it into ProRes, which is a really efficient CPU encode decode and all the wonderful things we can do with it. Well, imagine if you took out the processing of the camera that took it to a video pixel and left it in the RGB Bayer pattern, and then you put it through the ProRes engine. Well, that's what we did. Well, that's what Apple did, and we helped them do it by doing it at the camera, because we unlock 9 different pretty awesome cameras. It's the flexibility of RAW, so you're keeping all that data. It's nice and efficiently packed up like ProRes is, but all the quality is still there. And then you're on the timeline, boom, it opens those up, and then you apply all the transcoding and effects and color correction, all the stuff you want to do with it. So you've got lots of flexibility, and it's got the performance of ProRes. In fact, I would say, as you see the performance in a second, that it's probably even a little bit better. It's on the Mac today, in Apple fashion, coordinated launch. Our product's downloadable yesterday. Final Cut 10.4.1, supporting ProRes RAW, downloadable. All of you with Final Cut can get that immediately. All of you with my product get a free update. All the cameras that are supported already have RAW coming out of them. Sony's announced that it's free now for the FS5. And it's just like a revolution coming. It's also available in motion, so you can get out of the box straight away. There's 2 flavors, ProRes RAW HQ. And here's the data rate analysis. It actually is really efficient. And what we found, there were some really aha moments while we were developing this. So when we set up the shot really well, in ProRes RAW HQ, the file was smaller. That light blue range is when the image is really well exposed for high dynamic range, and it's really, ProRes RAW becomes really efficient. So it's less data rate than 444. And when the image is noisy, the data rate cranks up a little bit. So actually, if you're shooting really well, your file sizes are smaller, and you've got more flexibility, and you can use current SATA drives. You don't need to go to PCI Express drives. So our products work out of the box. So it was just like, wow, this is cool. So then we went and we used it, and I'll show you a video at the end of this. We went and we used it, and we were doing 4 streams on a MacBook. But Apple's tests on the iMac latest machines, because they're pretty happy with their 18 core, and we've got to use it, and it's pretty damn awesome. And it's on our booth at NAB. We've got 3 of them. You can come and try them out. We've got 10 core ones there. We don't have an 18 core. And they're playing 6 streams, no problem, at best quality, which means there's no resolution decrease. It then is faster render speed. So it's not a delivery format, it's a post-production format, it's a compositing, grading, editing format, and then you go to ProRes to deliver, or you go to H.264, which it encodes really fast to. So that workflow's like, wow, this is really fast. HEVC for uploading to the web, awesome. It's like, this is like a real workflow. This is like a ProRes workflow. It works on our devices. It works on Sumo and Inferno. That's a 19-inch monitor recorder. They're HDR capable. They're 10 stops of dynamic range. It works on the DJI Inspire too. Our part in it is we give you the monitoring. We give you the exposure tools to set it up properly. We convert the RAW to SDR down the track so you can connect it to all your current monitors. And we support all these awesome cameras. Up to 15 stops of dynamic range from the Canon and the VariCam. We do 12-bit RGB. ProRes RAW is not limited to this. It can go up to 16-bit. It can do much higher resolutions. It's resolution independent. Part of all the architecture changes to Final Cut a few years ago was to enable this type of stuff. 240 frames a second, 12 gig SDI we take in. And probably the most important thing is that camera data down the bottom there. That is in every frame, and it's embedded in the QuickTime file. And that's what we worked really hard with Apple to ensure that that data goes in. Because what that allows is for the real-time decoding and transcoding from raw linear to log to apply a camera LUT to get it all working at the same time. So we can do 6K from the DJI Inspire at the same time as 4K 60 at the same time from the VariCam at the same time as 240 frames a second from the FS5 at the same time. And they're all S-Log and V-Log and different, but it just happens for you. And it all goes out to PQ. And it's awesome. And this is the ProRes family. We're very proud of all I mean, it wasn't easy. It was a lot of work for our team and for the Apple team to get all of this ready. But it's super reliable. We've gone through the whole QA process, which was like a 3-month journey. That was pretty interesting. And it works on the MacBook. It works on the new iMacs, the older iMacs, and it works directly with our devices. And the beauty is you can shoot with it on these cameras, and then you can take that same monitor in the field, put it next to your laptop, and be just doing a quick edit, color grade, check your footage. It's not your final edit, because you're going to go back and probably do more on it, but it's a really good onset tool, and it enables your raw workflow, and it's the same thing you shot it on, same thing you're editing on. So it just all starts to make sense. Then we've got our key partners in storage. It's SATA drives, G-Tech, Angelbird. Sony's come into the fore, and we've got drives that fit into bays that connect straight over Thunderbolt, so it's all there for you. And I'm going to get the guys to play. So you get to unlock raw creativity, ProRes RAW and Atomos products available today. You can go and buy them lots of different places. Can I play the video, please? This was shot in Australia, all using different cameras in ProRes RAW. Try to put as much slow motion to show off the cameras. that was all shot in ProRes RAW. It was the aspect ratio was a bit weird on that version. But one of the cool things, and I'm going to finish in 1 second, one of the cool things about that whole shoot was every time we took the footage and checked it, it was perfect. And we could pull out highlights, and we could, dark areas we could really see in all their glory, and then we could put them on a drive and give them to our friend, and they could play them back immediately. And it is just a really, really awesome moment when you know this is going to change the way everybody produces. So thank you very much. Enjoy.
Jeromy Young, everybody. Outstanding.